Here's that funky slide guitar music that comes in every Monday through Friday, live at 5 on the Evil FB Network YouTube. Check us out, subscribe, type in IE Newswire on all those. You'll get my nice smiling, shining face. Much of the stuff going on, as we saw in the intro, as TVs got thinner, guess who got fatter? More Indiana Sprint Week rolls off tonight, starting at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway on the quarter-mile dirt track with sprint cars. Steve Hilton picks off his new gubernatorial campaign in Boyle Heights with all the rotting food and stuff like that going on. Gav, is the political noose even tightening further on Gavin and Jenny Poo Newsom? That and much, much more. Get to the TV thing in a minute. But, as we said, NOOSE Energy Drink Sprint Week on tap. Starting off, here's the preview from Flow Racing. First stint, here we go.
For the Mighty Midgets, it's time for the Screamin' V8s to make their way to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It is the kickoff to what is the toughest and one of the most prestigious weeks in all of sprint car racing, the NOOSE Energy Drink Indiana Sprint Week, presented by K&N Filters, and it begins right here in the hallowed grounds of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
That it does, in the hallowed grounds of Indianapolis Motor Speedway. 9 nights of record-breaking. 8 has been the best. It's going to start tonight. It will end into Sundays. Lots of great racing. Of course, you get the kickoff at the famed quarter mile at the Indianapolis, famed dirt track. What's it been in about 8 years? They started it just before COVID. And of course, that whole disaster came in. Here's C.J. Leary, winner of the first sprint car race at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Here we go.
When we first came for the mini test with me, KT, and I think Beauchamp was there, and I thought it was too small just going there, but man, we right away, I figured that we could race there because they race a lot like Hopstott, tight bouldering, and they left the racetrack with a cushion on.
Too small. Dude's never been to Ventura Raceway, I guarantee you that. Makes the Indy dirt track look like a super speedway, but they'll be kicking off the races tonight there in Indiana Sprint Week in fine fashion. Each race pays $10,000 to win. I think the biggest purse they've ever had on that, again, runs from tonight till July 1st. Check it out on Flow Racing or in the Indy area, all across Indiana. This next 9 days will be a sprint car lover's paradise. More in the race report. Dirt late models were at Fairbury, and man, did they get after it. Here's some of the 3-wide action for the lead last night. Here we go. We thought.
Fallsy tonight. This racetrack is perfect.
What their good friend Anthony Ainsley say last week, fall systems go. And they think about 3 wide off the corner from the...
Of course, fall systems go. As you see Rice, Babb, and O'Neill in a 3-wide extravaganza there. The racing, all 50 laps were like this. I mean, they went tooth and nail the whole race last night on that. Get to the finish, Brandon Shepherd finally got the lead and kind of took off from there, but it was competitive from 2nd to 5th on back all the way through. You.
All guy performance 1 to go for Hudson O'Neal. He's got a 2.7-second advantage. He'll work the low side through turns 1 and 2. DJ, 3 drivers had won this race in 6 years, but tonight in year number 7, car number 6 is going to get it done. Hudson O'Neal wins the one for the road, presented by I-Beam Sliding Doors.
Second spot is going to go to Josh Rice. He works back by Shannon Babb. Babb third, Jason Fager fourth.
So there you saw it. Hudson O'Neal finally took the win last night at Fairbury at a fantastic race going on. Don Martin Classic was at Lernerville Speedway. High Limit Racing. See how she goes.
The racetrack in turn 4. But Rico's car gets to the middle, very nice. That time it does it around the outside. Corey Day gonna take the lead down the back straightaway. White flag coming this time by. Corey Day to the race lead at Lernerville Speedway. 1 lap to go. Can Rico pull off another crazy one here in this one? He'll look to the inside of Corey Day in turn 1. Day around the outside to get by the slower car. Checkered flag this time by. Into 3 and 4 for the final time. It's going to be a $25,000 win for Corey Day.
What a payday for Corey Day. 25 grand at the Don Martin Memorial out in Pennsylvania on High Limit Racing. Made a, well, almost next to the last lap pass on Rico Abreu, which led most of the race, until Corey Day rolled up there and bagged the 25K at Lernerville Speedway. World Outlaws, we're at Oswego Speedway. See how those cats rolled. Here we go.
Into the final pair of corners. Make it 3 in a row at Oswego. David Gravel wins the Six Nations Showdown.
I guess you could say David Gravel's got Oswego wired 3 in a row at that speedway. What a night for David Gravel on that. The Mud Buses were up in Canada at Autodrome Grumby, or whatever the hell they call it. I can't pronounce Canadian. Here we go.
Corner checkered flag is out. The winner of King of the North, fight number 1 is Kid Rock and Alex Jankowski.
Alex Jankowski took that one. Lots of racing on more tonight, of course. Sprint Week starts at Indy. You can watch racing somewhere across America almost every day during the summer till now, December. Get out of the house. Get out. Even if you're watching on the TV, the races, get out from that and get to the real races once in a while. So we don't wind up in the condition as we saw. Lots going on. Steve Hilton kicked off his campaign in Boyle Heights, where all the rotting food is at the cold storage place, that the solar panels caught on fire. But it looks like he's hired Spencer Pratt's crew to do his TV ad, so let's kick off with that. Here we go.
As long as the machine rules California, nothing will ever change.
The homelessness problem continues to worsen in California.
Gas prices in the state have reached a record high. Another local favorite has closed down in Santa Monica.
Things have just gotten so expensive. I don't know if we can continue living here. We just want someone, anyone, to hear us.
Okay, we've got to figure out this governor thing. I'd do it forever, but it's my turn to be president. Bring in the machine.
The Democratic nominee is Javier Becerra.
Huh? The Biden guy who lost all those kids?
Can't be right. Run it again.
Becerra.
Becerra, welcome. The machine picked you.
The machine?
Thing we created to make sure nothing ever changes. As long as you submit to the machine, you don't have to do anything.
Nothing? I can do that.
I believe all the things that NEWSON believed. 4 more years! 4 more years!
So, what do you think? It went well?
That was worse than...
Who else is tired of the highest taxes in the country? The highest gas prices in the country? The worst homelessness in the country? This is our state, not the machines! That's what we're fighting for!
Taxes are going up. Do not resist.
Nobody's ever stood up to the machine before.
It's time to take California back!
Can we get Swalwell back? Run it again.
Can we get Swalwell back? That was a pretty good ending line on that. Steve Hilton for governor, as you see. And this is the key, though, I believe. Is enough enough? That's what we really, as California had it. Or are we still going to grab our ankles and say, please give it to us more with no loot? It's absolutely stunning, to me at least, why we put up with what we have in California. It's even more stunning to me that the rest of the 49 states cannot see this train wreck heading their way. Because it is. It's coming to your town. It's going to be in your area. You're going to have to deal with this. You're going to have to deal with the lunacy that's running across California. You're going to have to deal with the lies and the BS and the crap they've been running down your throat. Now, I don't know if this will be enough to get Steve Hilton to beat Javier Baccaria. I still think California is probably in the electorate too far gone. Or they're just going to do the mind-numb robot deal. Or the old Crook County or Cook County, Chicago, Illinois, where they had the machines where you just you put the ballot in, the old punch card one, you put the ballot in, you pulled the lever and it punched out all the Democrat ones and you went home. That's basically what the whole ballot harvesting is, registering the vagrants, keeping the voter registrations at 141% of eligible voters because they can cheat. Or they can manipulate the elections. As Stalin said, don't give a crap who votes. Just want to know who's counting the votes. This is what the whole enchilada is. Here in California. And precisely what we got to look forward to if we don't get our S together. you're going to get lied to about the vagrant count. Remember how last year we heard in LA and all across California, Newsom homeless is down. We were getting a handle on it after, God knows, $100 billion spent. And all the rip-offs we went through that 9 gazillion, 4,362 times. Fox 11 and Matt Seedorf went out and fact-checked this. Oh, the homeless count is down in LA. All our stuff is working. We go.
Number revealed by a Fox 11 exclusive investigation. According to multiple inside sources familiar with WASA's latest homeless count, the number of people living on LA streets is up roughly 3.5% from last year.
The homeless count, their own homeless count, which Iran Corporation said was off at least, without even trying, was off a third, was lower than it was by a third in the places. They checked out about 40% of it and said we don't need to go any further. Oh, we went down despite record spending.
I think it's more than that.
You think it's more?
Right.
What makes you think that?
I see it all the time.
After 2 straight years of reported declines, sources tell Fox 11 this year's count is expected to climb back to around 2024 levels when it's released Friday.
I'm definitely concerned. We've been concerned over the last year that the numbers might go up because of the cuts we've experienced and other changes.
Oh, you're going to get it. It's going to be Trump's fault. Donald Trump is responsible for the homeless crisis in California and Los Angeles. Karen Bass, Gulag Gavin Newsom, Corey Jackson, Ulysses Cabrera had nothing to do with it.
Last week, Mayor Karen Bass warned funding reductions to WASA following scrutiny over spending and management could impact progress.
I don't listen to numbers. My eyes are better than numbers.
I've seen a lot going on within the streets that has helped people get inside.
This block on South Hope Street highlights the homeless crisis, where several buildings have caught fire, many people think from squatters.
You think? We know they're from the vagrants, the squatters. They burn out buildings, occupied them, destroyed that. Like they said, what, don't believe, the Karen Bass is telling you don't believe your lying eyes. Don't believe the vagrant that you're crumbing over, that's dropping his drawers in the middle of the street and letting the S run out of his ass. Oh, you didn't see that. Your kids didn't see that. Don't believe your lying eyes.
These are nuisance properties, right? And there's not enough inspectors, there's not enough funding of these programs.
Fresh plywood already ripped from one.
Trump is responsible for hiring inspectors in California, Los Angeles, and wherever to take care of this. It's Trump's fault.
One of the entrances, while Martine digs through burned rubble for metal to recycle.
Buscando fierro, metal.
As LA prepares for Friday's release, the numbers may be changing, but scenes like this haven't.
Downtown, we face the brunt of it. Downtown is, the heart of the homelessness crisis. We need help.
Yeah. Why aren't you fixing that? Why aren't you letting the people in the Pacific Palisades rebuild their frickin' homes, Karen Bass and Gavin Newsom? Oh no, we couldn't do that. We want you to live like this. That way, we'll get it to the point where you will beg us to just make it stop.
Need more resources. We need to do bigger things.
Mayor Karen Bass just sent us this statement saying for 2 years straight, we drove down homelessness by historic margins. But as expected, last year our efforts ultimately couldn't keep up with policy.
What a freaking maroon. It's been right at 45,000 for 3 years. They did not drive homeless down by historic margins, or not any at all. If there was any sort of honest account, it's been increasing every year under Karen Bass, probably by 10 or 20%.
And funding cuts on the federal and state levels. This crisis was ignored by city leaders for decades. It's only now that we've seen a historic.
Gavin Newsom has dumped $100 billion into this, starting with Prop 63 in 2004, 22 years ago. Now, what the hell? You've got record budget money coming into the city of Los Angeles, and I don't care if Newsom or Trump is shutting you clear off. The reason you do not have the money to deal with this is you have been giving the grifters off of this stuff. The supposedly nonprofits or non-government organizations or developers or contractors or developers that are selling 200 square foot condos to you for $1 million, $15,000, $17,000, $20,000 a month we've been paying for hotel rooms for vagrants. $20,000 a month.
Decline. I will never stop fighting until no Angelenos are sleeping on our streets. Sources say that this report is also going to be broken down by city council district. Some districts saw that increase, others saw a decrease. We're live tonight downtown.
Everyone saw an increase. Everyone knows there's an increase. Everyone knows the reason why. It's just like, again, go in the kitchen and grab a can of tuna. Grab a can opener. Walk outside on the front porch. Open up the can, put it on, click, click. Open it up. Within 3 seconds, every cat within a 3-mile radius will be at your front porch. If you feed the problem, you're going to get more of it. This whole housing first or this, or we're going to put them into that, no. The only thing that is going to work at this point, for probably 90% or close to it, is either you're going to go into an institution or you're going to jail. One or the other. They're drug burnout cases. Their minds are gone. They no longer have the capability to take care of themselves. And again, if 10% of the money in the last 20 years had been directed at that, like it was supposed to under Prop 63 in 2004, remember, Newsom said, we're going to eliminate vagrancy and homeless in 5 years by 2009.
30 seconds, 30 seconds.
And it's exponentially worse. As Jesse said, we'll be joining the Mighty Met, KMET, here in a few seconds. See, as your TVs got thinner, what got fatter? Is the political noose tightening on Newsom and more? When we join the Mighty Met on the flip side.
5 seconds. Here we go.
App today. IE Newswire Daily is on the air.
The following is a paid program. Views and claims expressed are those of the program producer and are not endorsed by this station. Opinions expressed are not necessarily those of radio station KMET, its management, employees.
There's that funky live guitar music that comes on every Monday through Friday, live at 5:30 in the Mighty Met, 1490 AM, broadcasting all over the Inland Empire in the form of Judean band. Join our vast video audience on the Evil Upbeat Network, YouTube. Check us out, subscribe. Type in iNewsWire Roy Bleckert. You'll see my nice, smiling, shining face coming across your video screen or your 3x5 screen, which you should take a big hammer and just smash all to hell. You know, just try leaving it at home. You know, you don't need a frickin' pacifier. Past the age of what? A year old? Yet, 300 plus million people in the United States carry a frickin' pacifier with them every damn day, every second of their lives. If you're going to do that, we're going to treat you like 1-year-olds. If you can't think for yourself, if you can't enjoy life as it was supposed to be enjoyed, outdoors, getting a life, catching a sockeye salmon, like Bobby Kennedy did, grab a snake, go out and toss the football in the middle of the street. Build a BMX track in the field next door and have some fun. Indiana SprintWeek kicks off tonight at the famed Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Kicks off the first night of 9 races in 10 nights, all paying $10,000 to win. When we went to the race report, the dirt late models at Fairbury was an absolute fabulous 50-lap wheel-to-wheel battle, multiple shots for the lead, 3-wide racing. Again, do something productive, fun. Build a Crown Vic and go racing yourself. Not that expensive. Well, look at this, because this is where our lead graphic of the day. As you can see, 1965. And I can remember that. Look at how humongous the television is, how fat the television is, and how thin the evil white man who's sitting in the recliner is. You bump it up another 20 years to 1985, and you see the TV getting thinner, but the evil white man is getting fatter. We proceed another 20 years to 2005, and it's getting thinner, the TV. But look at the belly enlarging on the man in the recliner. And then, of course, we get to 2025. And you can barely see the side of the TV. But the man in the recliner looks like a beached freaking whale. A beached freaking whale. We went from the average male, what was 5'9" and 165 pounds, to 5'9" and 215 pounds. Same with the smarter half of the population. We gained both halves, the smarter half and the retarded half of the population, in 60 years. Has gained about 50 pounds on average in the United States. Now, there's just not one factor, of course. In 1965, 60 years ago, you didn't have 8,000 channels and 24/7. In 65, at the latest, about 11:30, 12 of midnight, you got the Indian with the test pattern on there. And they didn't come on till about 6 o'clock in the morning. They were off. Every channel was off for 6 hours. And of course, you only had 3 networks and a couple independents and a couple public television stations. That was it. And of course, as we got more in the TVs and that, and they got more in this and that, what happened? The average person in the United States gained 50 frickin' pounds, and their brains are going to hell. Because they'll tolerate this crap like we showed you in Los Angeles with the vagrants and everything going on. It's blatantly ridiculous. That we will put up with this horrendous lifestyle that we have crafted for ourselves. What else we can do is go, I can't take my I can't leave my pacifier. I have to take it with me. If it goes off while I'm driving the car, I don't care if I kill myself and cause an accident. I gotta see who's on my little 3x5 screen. I can't, it's gotta be next to me when I go to sleep, because it's gotta be there when I wake up in the morning. This is how we get to the Boyle Heights situation where the solar panels catch on fire on the cold storage, and now we have 85 million pounds of rotting food and rats and smell and everything else, and the vagrants pooping in the street, and the roads clogged and everything else. And what did the politicians do? They blame you. Here's Steve Hilton on his campaign kickoff. Out there in Boyle Heights where the rotting food and the rats are running wild. Good.
Decision 2026 coverage. Republican gubernatorial candidate Steve Hilton kicked off his general election campaign right here in Los Angeles, and he chose to do it in Boyle Heights, site of the massive warehouse fire that's still impacting the community. Hilton says he chose that location for a very specific reason.
NBC4's Conan Nolan was at today's campaign kickoff. He joined us live in studio with Hilton's message to the state, Conan.
That's right. Steve Hilton has a rough road ahead. He has to convince millions and millions of Democrats in California not to focus on the Republican in the White House, while at the same time telling MAGA-supporting Republicans within the state that he's a loyal supporter of Donald Trump. It was the disaster that wouldn't stop. Last month's fire at the Lineage Cold Storage Warehouse repeatedly turning the skies of the eastern LA basin.
The disaster, everything is, practically everything goes on is a disaster that won't stop. Pacific Palisades, Altadena burning. The vagrants, the traffic. Too much month at the end of the money. You can't afford a house.
Black as night. Later, the stench of rotting food overwhelming working-class neighbors in Boyle Heights. That it was the responsibility of the city of LA and not the state of California didn't seem to matter. Republican gubernatorial candidate Steve Hilton thought it was a good place to kick off his fall campaign.
This is the symbol of Democrat failure. 85 million pounds of rotting meat, the symbol of a rotten regime. And we are here to say, enough is enough.
As we ran the commercial that Spencer Pratt's crew said, and that's how they ended it, enough is enough, well, we're going to see. Are you going to tolerate 85 million pounds of rotting food, as they said, brought to you by a rotting regime? Are you still going to keep voting for Javier Baccaria, who sold, gave, or whatever happened, 500,000 kids, gave them to the cartels to be sex and labor slaves?
Ever since Donald Trump won a second term propelled by support from working class and Hispanic voters, Republicans have dreamt of a permanent realignment that could make them once again competitive in California.
They think that they'll have the Latino community with them forever. They tell themselves they're the champions of the working class. They've abandoned the working class. They've abandoned the Latino community.
But then,
can we stop with the racism? I don't care if you're black, Latino, came from Mars and are green with a horn sticking out of your head. If you vote for this, you are accepting Javier Baccaria, who will sell your kid, give your kids to a sex trader. Do we have to even go any? We shouldn't even have to be going any farther than that. But oh, it's that evil Trump. It's like Karen Bass. Oh, the vagrant problem is because of Trump. I had no. In fact, if Trump wasn't there, it would be Alice in Wonderland. God. How the hell do we get in these situations?
Came the administration's deadly immigration raids, tariffs and inflated grocery prices, an unpopular war in Iran, and surging gas prices. America has turned on the leader of Mr. Hilton's party.
And it is just very clear at this point that Donald Trump is hitting new lows in his polling data.
You can hate Trump, hate MAGA, whatever. It doesn't matter.
Maybe, maybe not. After all, just last month, the president took credit for Mr. Hilton making the runoff, implying his vote was being stolen before he threatened a federal probe.
They approved Steve Hilton. It was going to be 2 weeks. They said it. And then they approved him that night because the heat was on them, because they're cheating dogs.
Governor Gavin Newsom yesterday.
This is pathetic that anyone is defending the ramblings of this madness, this madman.
Gavin Newsom, who's brought you, and in 22 years of elected office, has systematically destroyed everything that he has touched. He wants Javier Baccaria governor because then he thinks the rest of the country would be stupid enough to elect him president. This thing is whoever wrote the best Greek tragedy pales into comparison of what's going on here. It's absolutely amazing. Nobody ever takes responsibility for their actions anymore. And maybe that's why you have to have the 3x5 screen as your pacifier. Because people, the vast majority of people have become mentally incapable of being an adult.
On this topic.
Can I envision a call to the White House saying, listen, I appreciate your support. Please do not campaign for me in California?
No, I don't see it that way at all. It's bringing together a broad coalition for change. That includes strong Trump supporters, and it includes Democrats and independents who can't stand the president. But we can all agree that we need to fix California. That's
what's on the table. Whether you like Trump, think Trump is second coming of Christ or Satan the devil himself, should be irrelevant to what's happening in California. For the most part, whatever happens in the federal government pales into comparison of the actions of the governor, Gavin Newsom, the legislature, Robert Rivas, Corey the Crook Jackson, Mayor Karen Bass, Mayor Patty D. in Riverside, or whomever. Those are the ones who have a much more direct effect on your quality of life, good or bad. Now, if you like the vagrants pooping in the street and you like not being able to afford a home, then keep voting for the same ways you've been voting and hope for a different result. It's becoming clearer why you have to have that 3x5 pacifier, because you're incapable of rudimentary discernment of the reality of what's in front of you.
campaign's all about.
So we asked Steve Hilton, would he like Donald Trump to come to California to campaign for him? Kind of dodged that, saying that conversation has yet to take place.
Does he risk upsetting the president? Would that hurt him here?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think Donald Trump's spending a lot of time focused on this race. But again, Mr. Hilton realizes this is a fellow in Washington. It's going to be a referendum on him in the midterm elections. And he's lost this state 3 times by millions.
This sums it, Colin Nolan sums it up distinctly. Again, what's happening in California in the governor's race? Who are going to elect there? Who are going to elect for state superintendent of public instruction? Are you going to elect a ding-a-ling like Barrera, who ran San Diego schools into the ground? Or are you going to elect Sonia Shaw, who stood up for parents' rights to know what's happening for their kids, who stood up for girls and said no boys and girls sports or locker rooms or bathrooms? No, we're going to turn around and we're going to teach reading and writing and arithmetic like we did in Chino Valley. Or are you going to go with Barrera, who took the once great San Diego school system and ran it into the ground? It's beyond ridiculous. That we are even at this talking point. But here we are. I don't know. Maybe the Trump administration and the Biden administration will save us. Adam Housley, former Fox News reporter, has his own Substack, and I think his family has a big winery up there in NorCal. Maybe it's next to Plump Jack, the one basically gifted to Newsom by the Gettys. He puts on the X machine. Latest on the Newsom investigation, investigators are said to have extreme, and extensive wiretap evidence and transcripts, and are seeking to identify and charge as many individuals involved as possible. The suggestion is the additional people are implicated beyond those publicly known. Names have not yet been leaked. So we have this from Adam Housley. He's been on top of this. I think he was the one that first broke this 4 years ago. 22, I believe, when the Biden administration, Department of Justice, started investigating Gavin Newsom. And that was based on whistleblowers' reports to the Department of Justice. Now, obviously, in the 2 years or so it didn't, the investigation, no charges were filed. And we don't know where that investigation or how in-depth it was during the 2 years. But it seems pretty obvious the Trump administration is really digging into this. He also writes on the X machine, also, if the wiretap went on for 2 years, then investigators would have had to return to a judge roughly every 30 days, resulting in approximately 24 separate judicial authorizations or extensions. Each extension would require the judge to find that the legal requirements continue to be met, which means they have the goods. And if it's back 24 months, that means the wiretaps were going on under maybe 100% under the Biden administration. Because this investigation was going on more than 2 years, and for at least 2 years into the Biden administration before Trump took over. Trump administration might not have asked the judge any at all to continue the wiretaps. Maybe it overlaps. But it's possible each way. Adam Housley further writes, the wire was on Gavin's wife, so I'm told. Doesn't mean she wore the wire. It means that the court order law enforcement can intercept the contents of communications, phone calls, text messages, other electronic communications, from a phone line or device. The target is generally unaware that the interception is occurring. What he's saying is they didn't tap Gavi's or Jenny Poo's phone. They wiretapped Dana the Hammer Williamson, whomever, Sean McCluskey. And then they would phone call or text message. And the Department of Justice would have access to those communications. PTM, which he's quoting for, the wired person for 2 years was a Dem operative and trusted by the D's. Lobbyists except she was taping. Also remember Gavin's chief of staff already convicted, and what is the likelihood that she flipped? Could be Dana Amber Williams, could be the Podesta chick, could be somebody else. But we're getting down to she and Democrat operative that people trusted. So that's narrowing the playing field down to people like Dana the Hammer Williamson or the Podesta chick. Housley writes, this whole investigation comes at an interesting time while the media focuses on MAGA, the internal Republican power struggle. The Dems are betting the socialist progressive blue dogs and the maneuvering for power, but arguably the biggest issue is that East Coast Dems are over Pelosi and California Dems' rule of power. Like anything else, let's see if the Trump administration's got the balls enough to drop the indictments. It sounds like the investigation part is pretty much over. They've collected the evidence. They've got the statements. Dana the Hammer Williamson's sentencing getting postponed till November is interesting. Plus the Podesta chick coming out and getting, she's been pegged as wearing a wire. Now, if it was a wire into this case, been reports, it's a Dem operative they trusted wearing a wire. Well, that puts a Podesta chick a number one. We don't know yet if that's the part. But as they say, inquiring minds want to know. That'll do it for today, as we usually say at this time. Mandatory you're back here in 23 hours wide to hear the best darn show in the whole wide world. Till then, see ya.
Have a great night.
So I was going to ask you, yesterday you brought Susan Shelley in on Zoom.
Yeah.
Did you do that through my Zoom meeting or yours?
Yours.
So let's work on this. Can you do that where maybe we could set this up where you could bring people on Zoom on video, and then I can put it up and then have them on video instead of video and audio instead of the phone thing?
Oh, yeah. I was going to discuss that with you in a couple days.
Okay, yeah, no problem. That flashed through my mind, and I was somewhat correct. So, yeah, whenever you want, let's see if we can set that up.
All right, cool.
You got it.
All right, bye.